I let Poshmark charge me up to $1,200 to try and promote my listings to get more sales on Poshmark. A few months ago, Poshmark launched a new feature that is called Promoted Listings. Basically, it allows you to pay an additional fee for your item to show up higher in the search results. Now, when I saw this new program, I immediately thought, if a company introduces a way where they will increase their earnings, you would assume that they would kind of help out the people who are contributing to their increased earnings. AKA, if you participate in things that are making them more money, they will help you kind of make more money as well. That is exactly what I was thinking when I signed up to get on the waitlist for Promoted Listings. And yes, there is a waitlist. So I set a budget of $150 per week for promoted listings on Poshmark, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have that YouTube money. That was a lot of money for me to spend. So today we're going to find out if I actually made it back. I resell on Poshmark full time, and when I first saw that promoted listings was a thing, I was doing around $3,000 to $5,000 a month on Poshmark, and I was growing every single month. Disclaimer, I did let Poshmark charge me up to $150 per week. I set the budget, they were able to charge me that. I don't know if they actually did charge me that or not, and that's what we're gonna be taking a look at today. So what even is promoted listings, and why should we pay Poshmark more money when we're already paying them 20% in selling fees, not to mention when we offer shipping discounts and all of those, but we're already paying 20%. Why should we pay even more to have our items promoted? Let's talk about it. So promoted listings is a feature that Poshmark launched a few months ago that was designed to help increase the visibility of people's listings. According to their website, it is a paid marketing tool that allows listings in a seller's closet to be eligible for promotion to shoppers on Poshmark. Basically, it allows you to set a specific amount that Poshmark can charge you as a budget per week. Yeah. Poshmark then takes this budget and uses it to promote your listings. So basically, when someone searches for an item and your listing matches what they're searching for, Poshmark will put your item at the top of the search results. That way your item gets more views and is actually going to be seen by that customer. It seems to me like they're trying to provide a paid option for maybe people who don't understand how sharing works on Poshmark, or just for those sellers who really, don't want to have to share their closet in the first place. So at this time, the program is based on cost per click. So you're going to have to pay every time someone even clicks on your listing. Now, I know a ton of people were so very angry about this pay per click system. Basically, on all the reviews, everything that I've read online about this, people don't like the pay per click. Now, this is still in beta, so there is time for Poshmark to change it. You never know. At this time as well, you do not get a choice in what items are promoted in your closet. It's either your entire closet or nothing. So, that $5 listing of those old pajama pants you were trying to get rid of? That's promoted at the same rate that designer coat that you have listed in your Poshmark closet is. So if someone clicks on those $5 pajama pants, even if they don't buy them, you're paying money for that. And if someone clicks on that designer coat, you're paying the same rate as well. So you're just paying for it if it matches whatever someone is searching, and they throw your listing up there and someone clicks on the listing. That doesn't mean that they bought the listing. It's literally just the click. Now, it does depend what items are promoted based on however many people search for that item. However, if you're going to turn on promoted listings, I would strongly advise you to go through and get rid of the $5 listings and only have ones where you can afford to have that ad rate on top of it. Now, as a full-time Poshmark seller, I am more than happy to pay Poshmark a little bit of extra money to have more sales and obviously make more money. I have no issue with that, and actually I'm very happy to do that, which is why I did this experiment. However, when I started actually using this promoted listings myself, I started to feel like I was being totally ripped off in the situation, and you're not going to believe what ended up actually happening to my Poshmark closet once I actually started even using it. We'll talk about that later. First, let's get into the numbers of everything, what you actually came here for. All right, so I have pulled up my promoted closet dashboard, and right away we see that overall I had 180,000 impressions, 4,838 clicks, 85 5 listings sold. I had only $1,995 in sales, and I spent $356 on promoted listing. Now, if I'm remembering from the video that I filmed before, I feel like that number is wrong, so I will have to go and verify that, but that's a little bit concerning, and that makes me feel a little bit uneasy because I don't remember the number being $356 that I spent. I remember it being higher from, I don't know exactly, but I knew a general idea, and I don't think that $356 is accurate. So I'm going to go back and try and see if maybe, hopefully I have a screen recording, but that's a little concerning about that. Let's just say it was the $356. I think I did spend more, but regardless, I got a 5.6 times return on my spend, I guess. So for every dollar I spent, I got $5.60 back, roughly, I guess. My cost per click was around 7 cents. My click-through rate was 2.68%, and my average conversion rate was 1.76%. So I guess I started July 18th, 2023. Now, I did do a 2-week free trial, and they gave me $90 a week for free during that time period. And as you can see, it did not spend, it spent a couple dollars per day, roughly. There were some times where it just kind of like totally dropped off, and it only spent, 92 cents during August. Now, I will say these months were some of my absolute best months, but when I started to look at how much I was actually spending after cost of goods, after Poshmark fees, after all of the things to make the amount that I was making, it financially did not necessarily make sense, and we will get more into that in a second. This was $2,000 roughly in sales that I might not have had. I know some of the items were items that I wanted to get rid of, and we will look into that. Oh, it deletes my sold listings. Oh my goodness. I spent $356, and the data that I have to show for it is a chart of what I spent, okay? The other reason that I was allowing them every single week to charge me up to that $150 was so that I could have access to this extra data, because we really only get our closet insights and we have no idea, besides I guess the number of like shares, follows, and likes that we're receiving, which really is not a reliable source of information. So I really wanted to pay for this just to be able to access these additional analytics. So I guess here as well, I can see, $14, $10, $50. I will say a lot of the items that did end up selling promoted listings were items that I knew were going to sell because they were hot items. So a lot of the items, it was kind of half and half of really good items that like would have sold on their own had I just been patient and waited for them to sell and not promoted them, versus items that have been sitting, or like my old clothes, or things that I would not ever purchase to resell. And some of those did get moved out, where I don't really mind paying to have those kind of moved out, but it is really annoying when you don't get to pick which items are promoted and which ones are not, because items that would sell without promoted listings, you're paying extra to have them sell, and they would have sold anyways. So now I have seen complaints about the return on ad spend, where if you're spending $1 and you're getting $5 back after all of the fees and everything, it is partially, I would argue that it is pretty ridiculous, because you have to keep in mind that 20% of that is going to Poshmark already, plus the dollar that you're spending, so that's already a good chunk of that $5 that's gone. Because I went to film this video before, I had pulled a week of sales from promoted listings and put it into this spreadsheet so that we could see what the fees actually end up being with these items selling in promoted listings. So the first item that sold was a pair of birdies. Those sold for $50. They would have sold without promoted listings. I only got to keep $40 from that sale. I also had a Marc Jacobs top that had a couple stains on it, and it ended up selling for $10. After fees, I got $7.05. I also sold a pair of Worthington pants, which is a brand sold at JCPenney. Those pants sold for $14, and I got $9.03 after fees. I also sold a Cachet sweater that sold for $16 after fees. I got to keep $10.78. And I sold a pair of ECHT, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, flare leggings for $30, and after fees I got to keep $24. And I sold a pair of 7 jeans for $14. After fees I got to keep $11.05. So for our total sold prices for this week, we are at $134 sold via promoted listings. After fees, I ended up getting to keep $101.91. The total amount paid in Poshmark fees, including shipping discounts, because oftentimes I find that you basically have to offer shipping discounts on certain items to just get them to move, because Poshmark shipping is a little bit on the higher side. I ended up paying $32.09, not including the promoted listing fee. We will get to that in a couple minutes here. So total margin ended up being $101.91. Breaking this down, because again, that did not include the promoted listing fee. That was just the sales in general. So we still have more costs here before we even look at cost of goods sold and all of that stuff. So our total approximate earnings were $101.91. We knew that one. Our promoted listing cost for the week was $25. So that leaves us with $76.91. And again, some of those items, yes, they had been sitting there, but some of them I knew would sell on their own. Now let's take a look at the Poshmark fees that we were actually charged and find out if this was actually even worth it or if we just got ripped off. So our Poshmark fees ended up being $32.09, which we knew earlier. That was just our Poshmark fees with the shipping discount. I typically estimate that Poshmark shipping and fees end up being like 30%. Obviously, it's great if it's only the 20%, but I do a lot of sales through shipping discounts. I think a majority of my sales end up being, I think it's like 87% end up being sold with an offer or a shipping discount. So I always just kind of estimate that off the top of my head. Then we had our promoted listing cost, which was 25%. Is that supposed to be percent? I literally thought I did the math wrong there because that's a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. Okay. Wow. All right. Whew. So then we are left with a promoted listing cost of 25%. Whew. And our selling fees with shipping ended up being 24%. Therefore, our selling fees with promoted listings, a whopping 48%. 48%. Now that obviously, this was only 1 week of sales. However, 48%. That's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. And that's not even including the taxes that the buyer is paying. That is not including the shipping, unless it is a small shipping discount that is offered that the buyer is paying. That is literally just what I'm seeing. So there's even more costs associated with the sale. And that's just, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Let me know down below. Leave a comment. Let me know. That's just what it ended up being for a week. 48%. Wow. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah. Yeah, they're advertising that you get $5 for every $1 that you spend, but I don't know how good of a return that actually is. So do you remember in the beginning of this video when I said that I was making between $3,000 to $5,000 a month on Poshmark when I was doing promoted listings? Yeah. As soon as I canceled my promoted listings, my sales dropped. Like, it felt like my entire closet was just shut off. My sales have been nowhere near where they were before I turned off promoted listings. And as a matter of fact, at the time of filming, it is December, and last month I literally struggled to even make $1,000 on Poshmark, which for me is absolutely unheard of. And that was for the entire month as well. I struggled to hit that. I've never been able to get anything to sell on eBay before, but last month my sales were so bad that I decided to give it another shot, and I almost outsold Poshmark my very first month on eBay, and that has never happened to me before. I have never struggled to have sales on Poshmark, so I don't know what happened there. I don't know if this was the cause of it or what, but I was still listing, I was relisting, I was doing all of the things. I was sharing, sending offers. I even sent more 50 to 60% off offers than I think I ever have this entire year, and I just was not having sales whatsoever. And the only thing that I can think of that was different was that I was not in promoted listings. So I am currently working on a video where I try out the minimum budget that you can with Poshmark promoted listings. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!